an account of power, ambition, and the consequences that followed Carlos King's expulsion from national television following Saguchi's legal action. When it comes to the entertainment industry, scandals and controversies are frequently considered to be intricately knitted into the fabric of the industry. These scandals and controversies are intertwined with the great ambitions and personal rivalries that define the high-stakes game of fame. On the other hand, there are certain stories that have the ability to make headlines because they bring to light deeper levels of ambition, treachery, and the precarious nature of a career that is built on public trust. The case of Carlos King, a once prominent producer, who was removed from his position on a national television show after a lawsuit was brought against him by Sogucci, a well-known media personality and entrepreneur, is one example of a story that has recently arisen and caused a commotion in the world of national television. Carlos King's fall from grace was not the product of a single error, rather, it was the confluence of years of ambition, questionable actions, and powerful personal connections that ultimately became the basis of his downfall. Saguchi, who is a rising star in her own right, took a courageous stance when she accused King of not only taking advantage of their working relationship, but also participating in unethical behavior that was detrimental to both her professional life and her personal life. During the time when the case was making news, King's career trajectory, which had previously been extremely promising, was now on the verge of collapsing. His ascent to power, Carlos King. He is not a stranger to being in the spotlight, Carlos King. Born in Detroit, Michigan, King began his career as a reality television producer and quickly established himself as a prominent figure in the industry. His contributions to some of the most well-known reality television franchises in the United States, such as The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, and Married to Medicine, brought him a great deal of national and international recognition. Within the realm of unscripted television, he became a highly sought-after producer due to his capacity to generate narratives that were fascinating and to convey the raw emotions that are associated with real-life drama. There is no denying the fact that he was successful, and for a period of time, he was considered to be one of the most important characters behind the scenes in reality television. He had a deep sense of what people wanted, which was drama, excitement, and authenticity, and this insight was the driving force for King's spectacular rise. The fact that he was able to create storylines based on actual events made him an invaluable asset to the production teams of a number of big networks. That being said, this accomplishment did not come without a cost. King attracted critics who believed that he sometimes stretched the borders of ethics in his pursuit of bigger ratings and larger revenues. As King gained more authority and influence in the industry, he also attracted detractors who claimed that he sometimes pushed the boundaries of ethics. There was one name that continually created headlines in the media during the time that King was rising the rankings, and that name was Saguchi. Having transitioned from being a social media tycoon to an entrepreneur, Saguchi had successfully attracted the attention of the general public with her daring personality, keen business acumen, and flourishing brand. In addition, Saguchi was a reality TV star. She made her debut on a well-known series, where she established herself as a fan favorite almost immediately. On the other hand, it was her friendship with Carlos King that would ultimately result in her involvement in the scandal that would have a significant impact on both of their professional lives. One of the rising stars with a voice is Saguchi. At the time of his birth in Atlanta, Georgia, Saguchi was already well-versed in the entertainment industry. The path that led her to fame, on the other hand, was not conventional. Saguchi established her brand through a combination of hard effort and inventiveness, in contrast to many of her contemporaries who were born into the public eye. Beginning her career as a social media influencer, she capitalized on her fame to start her own fashion line, which quickly acquired prominence. She became one of the most prominent figures in the fashion and entertainment industries as a result of her style, which was a combination of high fashion and urban chic. Her ensembles were able to attract a large number of people. As a result of her success on social media, she was an obvious choice for a reality television show. During her time on the popular television show Social Elite, which focused on the lifestyles of socialites working in the fashion and entertainment industries, she made an official appearance. By virtue of her personality, her strong opinions, and her daring attitude to life, she stood out from the crowd. In spite of this, Saguchi's success was not just due to her on-screen presence, rather it was her ability to successfully combine business and entertainment. As time went on, she established herself as a highly sought-after brand ambassador and finally became an entrepreneur with her own empire. Nevertheless, the emergence of Saguchi was not without difficulties by any means. Behind the scenes, she found herself in relationships that were fraught with complexities, with a number of the most prominent executives and producers in the industry. One of those people was Carlos King, who at the time was riding high as one of the major characters in reality TV production. He was one of the folks we were talking about. The first time that Saguchi and King came into contact with one another was when Saguchi joined the production of a new reality series that King was supervising. The controversy is being exposed according to the lawsuit that Saguchi filed. The problem started when she joined into a professional relationship with Carlos King. She asserts that King used his influence to coerce her into signing contracts that were extremely unfavorable to her, thereby receiving a significant share of the money that she earned from her participation in the show and other enterprises that were tied to it. In addition, Saguchi asserts that King's conduct extended beyond the handling of financial resources incorrectly. He is accused of destroying her career by controlling her narrative on the show, limiting her screen time, and purposefully degrading her public image in order to raise the ratings of the series. She claims that he did all of these things in order to boost the ratings of the series. It was alleged in the lawsuit that King had used his position of authority to make unethical decisions that had a direct impact on Saguchi's commercial endeavors. The lawsuit detailed various instances in which those decisions were made. As an illustration, it has been alleged that King exerted pressure on her to take part in dramatic plots that portrayed her in an unfavorable light, despite the fact that she had no interest in being involved in such contentious narratives. In addition, Saguchi asserts that King made an effort to force her to sign exclusive contracts with his production business, which would have restricted her capacity to collaborate with other networks and producers. Saguchi's discovery that King had reportedly been siphoning off income from her personal brand and commercial enterprises, taking credit for her success in the media without rewarding her adequately, was the tipping point that caused the situation to escalate. It was disclosed in the legal filings that Saguchi had attempted to handle the concerns in a private setting. Nevertheless, after many attempts to address the situation were unsuccessful, she was left with no choice but to initiate legal action. The consequences of being fired by Carlos King. As soon as the news of Saguchi's lawsuit became public, the media went into overdrive and the story rose to prominence almost immediately. The repercussions were felt almost immediately by Carlos King. King, who at the time was working on a number of projects that received a lot of attention, seen his reputation and career begin to fall apart. The networks that had previously placed their faith in him to produce their most important shows are now frantically trying to put some distance between themselves and the producer. Questions were raised regarding the ethics of reality television production, the handling of talent, and the developing power dynamics between producers and actors as a result of the legal claims that were brought against King. Many people were moved by Saguchi's bravery in coming out against King's alleged manipulation. This was especially true for those individuals who had been in situations similar to those described by Saguchi, but lacked the platform or support to disclose the truth. As the circumstances of the narrative began to develop, it became abundantly evident that Carlos King's time span working in the sector was drawing to a close. The network formally terminated his employment and discontinued his role in several popular reality shows. He was also sacked from his position with the network. When it comes to the entertainment industry, where reputations are everything, the fact that he was involved in such a high-profile case was a sign that his career was about to end. Despite the fact that King's dismissal was a significant setback for the reality television industry, it also served as a watershed moment in terms of how the industry would approach talent management in the years to come. During the time when networks and producers were dealing with the aftermath of the scandal, there were rumors that a more comprehensive reckoning was taking place in the industry. This reckoning might potentially result in increased transparency, more ethical treatment of talent, and a change in the way power dynamics were handled behind the scenes. What comes next to the aftermath? What happens? At this point, Carlos King's legal battle with Saguchi is not even close to being over. Even though he has rejected the allegations and promised to defend himself in court against the lawsuit, the harm that has been done to his career has already been done. It remains to be seen if he will be able to make a comeback, given that his reputation is in shambles and his power in the industry is diminishing. As for Saguchi, the case has only served to strengthen her position as a powerful and self-sufficient personality in the entertainment business. Despite the fact that the ordeal may have been challenging, it served to highlight her determination to take charge of her own story and to advocate for what she considers to be the correct thing to do. A great number of people, particularly young women working in the entertainment sector, have been motivated by Saguchi's narrative to take ownership of their careers and insist that individuals in positions of authority treat them honestly. It is highly possible that the aftermath of this scandal will continue to have a significant impact on the entertainment business for many years to come. As a result, it serves as a reminder that beneath the glitz and glamour of reality television, there are real people with genuine stories, and sometimes those tales are not as glamorous as they may appear to be. While it is possible that the lessons gained will come too late for Carlos King, it is possible that it will trigger a much-needed change in the way that talent is regarded and respected for others in the industry.